All right, we're back here at ISS. I am with Peter Adams. He is a Senior Director of Product Management at Ivanti, and you've just given a great breakout session on the use of generative AI in service management. What were some of the takeaways from your session?
Yeah, great to be here, thanks. And as you can imagine, that topic has drawn quite a bit of interest, right? AI these days is so much in the news. Some of the key takeaways from the session are, number one is AI is ultimately just a technology, right? In the end, the goals that you want to achieve from a service management perspective, whether it's cost savings, whether it's a better employee experience, whether it's agility in your organization, those don't change. Now, what AI often can do is push the limits around it and enable new things that were traditionally only be done by humans, but the goals ultimately don't change. So that was one of the topics that we talked about. Second one was, of course, we presented all the use cases that we've implemented and talked a bit about our roadmap. And on that side, the message is mostly about trying this out, right? There's a lot of concerns about AI, and a lot of people are skeptical about it in context of service management. So a big important part is to motivate customers to try it out, to see the value and the use cases and the technology that's behind it, right? Those are some of the key takeaways from the session.
That's great, yeah, and you bring up a really good point, because I know there is a lot of skepticism of adopting AI, not in just to the normal workforce, but into IT in general. So what would you say? Let's say I'm one of those customers that's very skeptical about bringing AI into my organization. What would you tell me to kind of alleviate my fears a little bit?
Yeah, so our primary focus is really about augmenting the work of IT staff, right? So it's not about replacing IT staff members, it's about making them more productive, it's about allowing them to make better decisions in their day-to-day work. Also, I think what always helps alleviate any fears and anxieties is to, again, just get familiar with the use cases, get familiar with the underlying technology. So that's why, again, we often encourage customers to just try it out in a kind of controlled environment, to experiment with it. And then I think a lot of the fear will go away, right? But ultimately, again, it's about augmentation. We have that motto about, human intelligence and creativity and intelligent technology coming together to do amazing things, right? That's really stands for that augmentation aspect.
Yeah, I think it's natural to fear the things we don't understand, right? So just becoming familiar with it, using it, bringing it into your organization, seeing how it can actually help will probably, like you said, alleviate a lot of those fears, right? Let's talk about what Ivanti is doing, because I know that there's a lot of AI capabilities with Ivanti neurons that can do a lot of good for organizations.
Absolutely, yeah. From a service management perspective, we often look at it from a persona perspective. So there's a number of things we've done over the past 3 years in helping the employee experience as one of the key personas from a service management perspective. So that could be either a conversational support, a chatbot, a very common concept, probably the most widely used use case from an AI perspective within service management. But this can include other things, the self-healing capabilities, for example, the fact that they avoid a user having to create new incidents and send them to the service desk. That is a good experience for the employees. And then we also analyze survey responses, analyze the sentiment of the users, and that enables a better understanding of how users feel about the technology, right? So that's one aspect. And then on the analyst side, we have a number of use cases implemented, some focus on categorization of incidents so that they are routed to the right service desk team, so to speak, and not bouncing around in the organization. We now are using generative AI technology to create knowledge article drafts or to summarize incidents. So there's a lot of power and a number of use cases that we've built out over the years.
And this is growing technology, obviously. That's AI is the buzzword. I remember being in Silicon Valley, and it seems like every billboard had something to do with something with AI. A lot of capabilities are still to come out as well. What are you most excited to see coming live?
So I'm very excited about the use case that we're targeting towards the end of the year, which is about incident clustering. So here we are trying to get a better understanding about the nature of incidents that come into the service desk and see whether the same incidents are really connected to the same cause. Let's say, your mail service is down, and basically, you'd probably get a lot of incidents coming in. They're all caused by the same issue, right? And so the idea that we have here is not just understand the incidents that come in and cluster them together, but also visualize that then for a services manager or an on-call manager so that they really can have a better insight of what's happening in the environment, right? They would see, hey, there are some clusters forming, some of them are reported by multiple users, but they're caused by the same issue, and then they can take according steps, manage them as one incident really, or for example create a major incident, right, if this is something more serious that they have to handle a bit differently, right? So that kind of transparency is really exciting for me to see.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's very exciting. There's a lot of buzz at ISS about that as well. So I'm sure you're having a lot of conversations with a lot of very interested and inquisitive people while you're here. Has it been a good show for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, there's a lot of interest at the show floor, at the demo station, so quite interesting.
Well, Peter, thank you for being here. And I know you're going to be busy throughout ISS, so good luck with that, and enjoy those conversations, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.